Michael J. Fox is one of the most famous actors of all time, and people admire him for more than just his famous parts. They also admire him for being strong, funny, and graceful while dealing with Parkinson's disease. But even though Fox is 64 years old and has a huge legacy, he recently made news for an unexpected and brutally honest admission: he doesn't want someone to show up to his funeral. Who could it be, and why? Stay with me, because this story has a lot more to it than you might think. For more than 40 years, Michael Fox has made people laugh and feel things. Starting with the first time we saw him on TV as Alex P. There was something unique about Catan in Family Ties. He wasn't just another pretty face in Hollywood. You could picture him as your friend, brother, or that cool guy from high school that everyone liked. He was on time and charming, and he had that one special quality that made you feel like you knew him. The Canadian born on June 9, 1961, in Edmonton, Fox wasn't always a star. He was only a kid whose family moved around a lot because they were in the service. Because his dad was a soldier, the Fox family never stayed in one place for too long. Michael wasn't quite able to put down roots as he grew up in different Canadian towns. He was always the new kid. That might be why he was so good at getting along with others. You quickly learn how to make friends when you're always on the outside. He quit high school when he was 15 to become an actor. Take a moment to think about that. 15 years old. Really sure about what he wanted to do with his life? He was ready to risk everything for it. People in his family thought he was crazy. Of course, no parent would want their kid to quit school to follow a dream that will almost never come true. Fox moved to Los Angeles, though, with almost no money and lived off of craft food and hope. He had no money at all and couldn't even buy chairs. He slept on the floor on a cushion and a phone book for a pillow. He took on small parts, special roles, and anything else he could get. He made ends meet for years by going to auditions, getting turned down, and then going to more auditions. Then Family Ties came out in 1982, and everything changed right away. It was Back to the Future that made Michael Fox famous, but Family Ties made him famous, too. Here's something crazy. He almost didn't get the part. Eric Stoltz was first cast as Marty McFly, and the movie was filmed for a few weeks before the makers decided it wasn't working. They fired Stoltz and called Fox, who was shooting Family Ties at the same time. Fox's scheduling went crazy. Every day, he would work on Family Ties. At night, he would rush to the Back to the Future set and work all night. He slept only 2 or 3 hours a night because he was always on edge, young, and excited to be in what he knew would be a special place. When Back to the Future came out in 1985, it made more money than any other movie that year. Michael Fox was no longer just a TV star. He was famous in movies. A real movie star, by God. Someone whose name alone could open a movie theater. He was making music everywhere. Covers of magazines, talk shows, and award shows. He went out with actress Nancy McCann, that's why. He was young, good-looking, successful, and seemed like he could do no wrong. It was around the middle of the 1980s. And if you were a young boy or girl, Michael Fox was probably on the wall of your bedroom. Back to the Future and Teen Wolf both came out in the summer of the same year, giving Fox 2 big hits at the same time. The Secret of My Success, Light of Day, and Bright Lights, Big City were his next books. Movie fans couldn't get enough of Fox because he was having a great time making movies. The 1989 and 1990 sequels to Back to the Future solidified his fame. It was clear by now that Fox could handle a wide range of roles, from comedic to dramatic to romantic to sci-fi. He could do many things well, was loyal, and people loved him. Studios liked him a lot. He was great to work with for directors. He had everything. But here's the thing about life. It doesn't care about what you want to do. Not having money, fame, or millions of fans doesn't help. Anyone can have bad things happen at any time. Michael Fox was 29 years old in 1991. He was married to Tracy Pollan. They met on the set of Family Ties and got married in 1988. Music, their first child, a boy named Sam, had just been born. Fox's job was going great. The days ahead looked good. After that, he saw something strange. His left middle finger was moving back and forth. Just a small jolt that you can hardly feel. He thought it might be worry or being too tired. After all, he was working all the time. The shaking didn't stop, though. Things got worse. His hands began to shake. That was hard for him to handle. When he went to the doctor, he thought it would be nothing serious, maybe just too much work or a pinched nerve. Instead, the doctor looked at him and said, "You have Parkinson's disease." Now, what is Parkinson's? A sickness that only affects old people? That wouldn't happen to 29-year-old movie stars at the height of their careers. At first, Fox didn't believe it. He went to 3 or 4 different doctors to get different views, but all of them told him the same thing. He had a rare form of Parkinson's disease that starts in people younger than 50. It got worse over time, couldn't be cured, and would eventually make him lose control of his actions. The diagnosis made Fox go crazy. A lot of drinking was his way of trying to calm down from the fear, anger, and sadness over the life he thought he'd have. It would have been okay for him to stay quiet about it forever, but the stress of hiding it was killing him. Fox didn't tell anyone but his close family about his illness for 7 years. He kept working, acting in movies and TV shows, even though the shakes were getting harder and harder to control. He came up with ways to hide his problems. He would put his hand in his pocket or hold on to something if it was shaking. He would carefully time when he took his medicine so that the tremors would be very light while he was shooting. He would change the way he was acting by adding moves that made the shaking look like something else. Putting on a healthy front when he was really falling apart inside was, in some ways, the act of his life. Starting in 1996, he played Mike Flighty, a quick-talking deputy mayor of New York City, on the TV show Spin City. He had to be active, full of energy, and able to move quickly for the part. It was hard to hide Parkinson's because it was so tiring. His co-stars would sometimes notice the shaking in between takes. Fox, on the other hand, would laugh it off and change the topic. It got worse to drink. Talk shows and books by Fox have been honest about this. He was using to ease the pain of the shaking and deal with the fact that his body was lying to him. He worked well enough. He never skipped work or showed up drunk, but behind closed doors he was hurting himself. His wife Tracy Pollan was there for him the whole time. During this time, they had 3 more children. The twin girls Aquina and Skylar were born in 1995, and the girl Esme was born in 2001. Fox has said that his family was what pushed him to keep fighting. Music, Fox decided he could no longer hide in 1998. He told everyone about his illness in an interview with Barbara Walters, and they were shocked. No one avoided him or felt sorry for him. They came together to help him. They praised how brave, honest, and determined he was to not let his illness define him. When he left Spin City in 2000, Music, his co-stars gave him a farewell that made them cry. Charlie Sheen took over the lead role, and the show made an episode to honor Fox's move. It was the end of an age. But Fox didn't give up on Hollywood yet. He was a guest star on TV shows like The Good Wife, Scrubs, Boston Legal, and Rescue Me. Often playing different versions of himself or people who have Parkinson's. Even though he had tremors, took medicine, and had physical limitations, he showed the world that he could still act and bring something special to a part. Parkinson's isn't like having a broken bone that gets better or a cold that goes away. It's a constant companion that needs care all the time. Fox has said it's mysterious and hard to predict. There are good days and bad days. The symptoms are sometimes doable and sometimes too much to handle. The shocks are the most obvious sign, but they're not the only one. It's easy to trip and fall when you have Parkinson's. It changes the way people talk, making it hard to understand them sometimes. It makes muscles stiff, which makes moving slowly and awkwardly hard. It can change how you feel, think, remember, and sleep. Fox takes medicine to help with his symptoms, but the medicine itself is giving him trouble. As annoying as the shakes can be, dyskinesia, which are uncontrollable jerky movements, can be caused by levodopa, which is the main drug used to treat Parkinson's. It's an ongoing balancing act to get the right dose at the right time to get the most out of the good hours and the least out of the bad ones. Fox has had a lot of surgeries over the years. One was to remove a tumor from his spine, which made him briefly unable to walk. He has broken bones from falling. He has dealt with infections, problems, and failures. He's worked his way back to his music every time. He's also had to give up things he enjoys. He can no longer play the guitar. His fingers won't work together. He has a hard time typing. Most people don't think about how hard it is to do simple things like buttoning a shirt, tying their shoes, and cutting food. Fox hasn't given up everything because of the sickness, though. He can still laugh at himself. His mind is still as sharp as ever. He still has his family and friends, and his goal is still to find a fix for Parkinson's. One of the most important groups in the fight against Parkinson's is the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. It has given more than $1 billion to music since it began in 2000. It is the world's largest non-profit funder of Parkinson's study, having spent $5 billion on research. As he did when he was playing, Fox threw himself into the work with all his might. He spoke in Congress in favor of more money for medical research, including the disputed study of stem cells. Using his fame to bring attention to the disease and raise money, he became the face of Parkinson's. The foundation has given money to research on a wide range of topics, including the genetic reasons of Parkinson's disease, possible treatments, and ways to improve the quality of life for people who have the disease. Fox is directly involved with the group's work, not just as a leader but also as someone who knows about the study, asks tough questions, and pushes for results. Many of his books, like Lucky Man, Always Looking Up, The Adventures of an Incurable Optimist, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Future, and No Time Like the Future, are about his life with Parkinson's. An optimist thinks about death. The books are real, funny, and sometimes very sad. They show what it's like to deal with a long-term illness and keep your spirits up and your sense of fun. Fox has become close friends with many people in Hollywood over the course of his work. Some of these connections have been going strong for decades, through the ups and downs of his fame and the hard times caused by his illness. His co-star in Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd, became a friend for life. Over the years, they've gotten back together more than once for charity events and anniversary parties. Lloyd has said touching things about Fox's strength and courage, and it's clear that they love each other whenever they're seen together. Fox also kept in touch with many of his co-stars, such as Meredith Baxter and Michael Gross, who played his TV parents. Everyone who worked with Fox has talked about how professional and skilled he was, even when he was young. From Spin City, Fox became close with a number of the group members. People have talked about how Fox never whined or used his illness as an excuse. They also said that he always brought his best to work, even on days when it was clear he was having a hard time. But bonds in Hollywood can be hard. They're usually based on how close they are. When you work together, you're close, but when the job is over, you move apart. Fox has been through this, as has everyone else in the business. There are friendships that last and friendships that fade in show business. Fox has recently become more open about his feelings about death and what he wants for his funeral in interviews where he promotes his work and talks about his life with Parkinson's. Some people might find this morbid, but for someone who has had a sickness that gets worse over 30 years, thinking about the end isn't sad.